Games have the power to share ideas, induce emotions, and engage us in worlds beyond reality. Yet, it's inherently linked to the world we live in. And in this year filled with fear and loss, our life's rhythm is confined by something inscrutable and unseen, wading through a fog in search of a lighthouse. When we don't get to reach out to our hearts, dreams, and desires, games can give catharsis, letting us take on journeys towards so many goals. So if you take anything from the next 5 minutes, these are the 6 reasons why I feel games mattered in 2021. I really enjoy fictional worlds because it lets us talk about our world and our history through this fantastical lens. What seems impossible here is possible in another world. There, people have the power to change it. And in the tactical RPG Wildermyth, you can tell the myths and legends of the world. You can decide how and why these simple farmers fight against their fate, form deep relationships, and are shaped by the world around them. Telling stories and developing characters together with a friend in Wildermyth is such an enriching experience. One adventure critiques empire and oligarchy through the metaphor of climate disaster, while another tests the bonds between siblings and families and the responsibility of power through unweaving reality itself. So, if you can find a friend that also enjoys telling stories, Wildermyth is for you. You can get Wildermyth on itch.io for $25. It is both a trope and cliche, but I love stories where rebels oppose empire. And FUGA Melodies of Steel tell that story. It handles the heavy subject of children fending for themselves below the weight of war, working together to build themselves up, going from town to town to keep alive what they love most: family. And in that aspect, it's also a found family story. Earning each other's trust, understanding each other. These small everyday acts like hanging laundry out to dry, having dinner together, going fishing. These ways are the way they'll make it through these harrowing trials and tribulations. Because in the darkest moments, that's where the light shines brightest. This is also a story about growing up and learning that the world you were born into was maybe not what you were expecting, and the history that's been hiding away from you. FUGA is powerful when it conveys these things through the game itself, in the small individual ways each kid can help each other recover from their weakest moments, and how sacrifice can ultimately be both the most selfless and selfish act to make. And one selfish request to game devs: more games with in-world comics please, that is so cool! You can get FUGA Melodies of Steel on PC, Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox for $40. Whew, okay, those were some story-heavy games. But story, take a back seat because here comes Mombo. Super Mombo Quest is a small, delightful platformer that just feels so good to play. Mombo has this amazing sense of speed with fun abilities flowing into each other, dashing and wall jumping and slamming into the ground. The Kirby inspiration is pretty clear here. But a platformer's moveset is nothing without level design, and Mombo does great here too. It never gets too difficult and encourages you to use every move and ability at your disposal. Even so, Mombo's shining star is its combo system. Landing on enemies, collecting gems, keeps that combo bar alive and going, and once you clear a level's enemies, it will give you the legendary Mombo Combo. You had to have seen this coming, and it is an absolute treat, encouraging you to always be on the move and clear a level in one go without stopping. Kind of like the thrill of keeping your momentum going in games like Sonic Mania and Super Fancy Pants Adventure. It's free on iOS and Android too, so please give it a try. You can also get Super Mombo Quest on PC and Switch for $15. Keeping with this trend of short and sweet experiences, ElecHead is a game that seems simple at the outset. You are a robot, and whenever you touch metal, you charge it with electricity. A few rooms later, you get the ability to throw your own head, and everything in the game changes from that point. Because your head holds the power, you can charge doors, platforms, turrets, everything in your environment. But your robot body can only move itself for 10 seconds without having your head connected again. ElecHead's simplicity makes for an amazing puzzle game, with each room introducing a new, surprising, and creative way that throwing your head can help you move forward. Each revelation, whether you realize it yourself or find it in a walkthrough, is a reward in itself. It's that, oh, you can do that moment every few minutes. And its very game design rewards curiosity and thinking outside the box. It won't necessarily have the narrative rewards like you get in Outer Wilds or Return of the Obra Dinn, but it reaches those similar moments of discovery that I find difficult to find outside games. You can get ElecHead on itch.io for $10. Much like ElecHead, Lifeslide is a simple premise with nuance, beauty, and complexity within. You control a paper airplane, guiding you through a life's journey from birth to the end. You are rewarded for taking chances, taking in your surroundings, and making considered decisions on the fly. Because Lifeslide gives you an emotional, mechanics-driven experience, where each stage of a human's life takes on different challenges and emotions. For example, as a young child, the world feels free and open and endlessly large, and there are very few obstacles in your way. This is also a wonderful opportunity to get accustomed to the controls, much like, you'd probably learn how to use your body and move around as a kid. Throughout your life, you make constant choices on whether to take the safe approach to ensure your survival, or to gain new experiences, become stronger and more independent further along your journey. You might discover new opportunities that were not available to you before. You will anxiously anticipate the future and nostalgically reminisce the past. The visuals, the sound design, the soundtrack, they create some powerful emotions on your journey. And combined with the seamless transitions between stages of life, Lifeslide is just a wonderful, cohesive journey. You can get Lifeslide on PC for $15. Alright, my relationship with horror is kind of like my embroidery skills. It's frayed and hopeless. I dig what tension can add to stories. I can appreciate the intrigue and curiosity of, humanity's unknown elements. And I'm happy for the people that can find catharsis in fear and shock and emotional trauma. But my personal experience with horror has never been beneficial, and I'm okay with that. Fortunately, the run-based shooter Dead Estate, heavily influenced by horror media, has found this blend of claustrophobic up-close tension, the fast-paced challenge, and exciting variety that I really like. Each run is like this dance, constantly in motion, a variety of runs and jumps and strafes in this routine, and your only means of escape is facing your fear head on. And its limited room area and close quarters approach to combat, as well as that spelunky ghost-esque or Resident Evil Tyrant style enemy that chases you if you stay too long on the floor, all these parts contribute to this tense action horror experience that steps away from those elements of horror that I don't find enjoyable. I also really like the run-based narrative design, where the story progresses for each run you complete, not too dissimilar from the way Supergiant Games did it for Hades. You can get Dead Estate on itch.io for $15. So, games help me cope with horror. It let me interpret life differently. It let me expand my horizons, to enjoy life's simple pleasures, and to appreciate those everyday interactions with other people, and to run collaborative storytelling. This year has been difficult. Everyday tragedies blaring in our minds. For those who can, I think it's okay to make an artful escape for a day. Explore new worlds and return more prepared for where life will take you next. So let me end with a quote, something that's been lifting my spirits in the pandemic hours, from Albin Anderson's capsule. Tell me when you're hurting, I'll tell you we'll be fine. That soon we'll be landing back home on solid ground. We bring up our routines of joy and again postpone our fear.
That we've changed more the last days than we did the last 3.